Okay, welcome to the February 6th, 2019 meeting. For those of you who weren't there, and those of you who were to get a recap, it was a fairly short meeting, so this should go pretty quick. Again, I'll speak, pause on some of the slides so you can read, and then we'll go from there. First thing I talked about was some house cleaning items. Some of you guys, when you go to one times that are sold by either Slingshot or Jesse, when talking to the customer, you sell them on quarterlies. You let them understand what you can do for them from a quarterly standpoint and how that's beneficial to them. If that happens, that's great. And we want to make sure that we award you guys for the work that you put in for that. So in the past, you've called the office and had the office change it to quarterlies, that kind of stuff. Plus, you guys don't understand, don't know pricing. It's not that you don't understand it, you don't know pricing. So if you ever have questions with pricing, you can always give me a call. You can give Jesse a call, give the office a call. But if you do that, turn a one-time into a quarterly, make sure you let me know, and I need the customer name so I can report that to Travis, and Travis will make sure that you guys get compensated for your work. Again, the exact dollar amount is unknown because it's going to be dependent on the subscription they get, the pricing, and that kind of stuff. So the exact dollar amount isn't known, but make sure that you let me know. If you do want to turn a one-time into a quarterly, you guys can always call me if I'm in the office. I can do that for you. The price and everything, you don't even need to speak to the office staff. If I'm not in the office, obviously I can't do that because I'll be on the road and not at my computer. But either way, I need to know about it so I can report it to Travis. The next thing is reporting. As I was going through inventory, I noticed that you guys have a ton of ambush stations and a ton of Evos and a ton of contract blocks on your truck, right? They're not getting reported properly. Some of the issue with the contract blocks may have something to do with the dilution rating before it got changed. Not your guys' issue, but ambushes, Evos, glue boards, things like that, I know aren't necessarily getting reported correctly. Anytime we use a product, it needs to be reported. If you leave a customer 6 glue boards for a later date, we need to report that left 6 glue boards. For one, that way we understand the state of our inventory and where that dollar value is going, so we can track that. For 2, from a Department of Agriculture standpoint, they're going to want to know exactly what we did, what we left, and that kind of stuff on the site. So that reporting is crucial. And again, if you report incorrectly and you get audited, that fine comes to you, not to the Rove, not to the company. It comes to you guys, the license holder. So so not only is it important for inventory reasons and for us to understand what's going on at the customer's house, it's also important for Department of Ag and legal reasons. So make sure that we're reporting correctly. Weather, again, the next few days, the weather is going to be atrocious. More snow tonight into tomorrow. Bitter cold on Friday. So make sure that you guys are taking the necessary precautions. Stay away from sidewalks and driveways that are icy if you can. Don't rush from stop to stop. Take your time. If you're going to be late due to weather or due to traffic or whatever, let the office staff know. They'll reach out to your customer. And make sure you allow extra time. Check the weather the night before so you know kind of what it's going to do. And if you got to get up early and get moving earlier, do so. Just make sure that you check and do the necessary precautions so that way you guys can complete your route safely and correctly. So next thing we talk about, attics, ladders, and roofs. Again, attics, we do not enter an attic unless they are finished and have a dedicated attic ladder. Now, what I mean by dedicated ladder, I'm talking about one of those ladders that's fixed screws, you pull something down and it folds out. That's a dedicated ladder. It's affixed to a structure, so you don't need somebody holding it. You can go up and down. If they are unfinished but have that dedicated ladder, we can poke our head up there, take a look around, treat as far as we can reach, and then we can move on from there. If it's not finished or doesn't have a dedicated ladder, we do not enter. In the meeting, somebody asked what if they have their own ladder they want us to use. That's going to be at your discretion, but I advise against it just because, again, it's not affixed to anything. So unless the customer is willing to hold it, which isn't their job to do, it could be unsafe. So again, if you just say I can't do it for liability reasons, I'll always back you for that. The next thing is ladders on themselves. We don't carry them. We don't go on them. Boom. Plain and simple. Again, for that reason. We've all been on rickety ladders. A customer may think their ladder is safe. That's not the case. They may be something that they want to be on uneven ground. They're not willing to help hold it, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. If we just say we don't do it, we don't do it. If something's too high, like a nest or something, treat it. Do the best you can. And then explain to the customer why, what you did. And if they're like, well, can you remove that? I can't. This is the reason why, it's good to have a wasp nest up. It takes care of the insects that are on top of your house. It's feeding on that. They're not going to come down. You're not a threat to them. If they start coming inside, we can treat inside, stuff like that. And roofs, period, boom, we don't go on them. That's all there is to it. Another thing about attics, if you are going in an attic, make sure to possibly wear a mask, especially if it's an older attic. You don't know if it's asbestos or what's going on for the insulation. It's warmer up there too. So always make sure you don't spend a ton of time in an attic. We don't want to spend a ton of time in an attic and it's too warm, and especially now when you have a jacket and a couple 3 underlayers on to stay warm when you're outside. If you're in an attic, you get warm super quick. Lightheaded, dizzy, pass out, that kind of stuff. We don't want all that. So make sure that if you are going in a ladder, you limit your time, attic, you limit your time, and possibly wear a mask. All right, we talked about moles. Currently, they're hibernating. Well, a hybrid hibernating, I guess you could say. But the big thing about it is that the customers you're servicing today and next week, next time we come out, the ground could be thawed unless it's like last year. So expect, if it is a mole customer, give them expectations. So, come end of March, beginning of April, end of February, middle of March, whenever, when the ground starts to thaw out, moles are going to start to come to service to look for food. And you're going to see an increase in activity for that reason. The good news is that we're going to come out in March. So if you see activity before then, give us a call. We can move up your quarterly and get you in there. And slide that move up the quarterly in there, right? If they balk at it, be like, well, can I use a reservice? Absolutely, you can use a reservice, if that's fine. But we want to smoothen that move up their quarterly so they expect in March when we come out, or at the end of February, or at the end of March, beginning of April, they're going to pay for it. So I just always work that way, and they're just kind of smooth and sly. Most of the time, they're not even going to hear it. Anyway, so moles, they're solitary animals, except for when they mate, which they're going to do between March and May. Their young will be born about 7 weeks later. And when they mate, there's a lot of tunnels together. But again, that's only going to be for about 2 to 3 months, and then after that, they're going to be solitary again. They will fight each other for their area, that they've marked their area. We don't really get a lot of that here because there's an abundance of area that are good for moles. They can eat up to 80% of their body weight in food, and they can tunnel 300 yards a day. So voles, I'm not going to talk too much about voles. I'm just going to pause and let you go ahead and look at the slide. Gloves and masks, go ahead. And then the customer dialogue, and I will speak to this because it's important that we understand really the interaction that we should all be having with the customer to get the most success from a customer interaction, right? We want to provide as much information to them, get as much back from them, and that way we can perform our jobs correctly, efficiently, in the eyes of the customer, and that's going to call for less reservices. They're going to be happier. They're going to pay their bill on time. They're going to stick around. They're not going to cancel. All that stuff that affects your guys' bonus. So customer interaction is very, very important. First thing is you should be going to the door twice, not once, twice. Even if there's nobody home at the first one, go a second time. I was with Willie last week. I told the story in the meeting. I was with Willie last week. We knocked at the door there for about 30 to 40 seconds. Thought nobody was home. Went and performed the service. When I got to the back sliding door, somebody opened it and asked what I was doing there. So clearly there was somebody home. Had they not caught me there and I not go back up to the door, then nobody would have known. They could be in the shower. They could be napping. They could be working out. They could be playing music. So many reasons why people won't hear a doorbell or a door knock. But when you do interact with a customer, introduce yourself while you're there. I'm James Crowley. I'm with Rolf Pest Control. I'm here to perform your quarterly today. and then ask them immediately how their activity inside, any activity inside that you're worried about, and then go from there. If they say yes, we'll treat the inside. If they say no, let's work around trying to treat the inside. Great. Since there's no issues inside today, what I'm going to be doing outside is I'm going to be doing a interior or a crack and crevice dusting. I'll also look for entry and exit points. I'll check any bait stations around the home. I believe you have 3 of them. I'll also get out my web head and take away any webs that I see. And then I'll take a look for any rodent damage that may be on the yard or in your plants or bushes. Stuff like that. Even if they've never had issues with rodents, we want to make sure that we're doing that kind of stuff, because again, that's what sets us up. Sets us above the rest, puts us on a different playing field, is because we don't just do what we know they have issues with or they've had issues with in the past. We're going to do a little bit more to make sure that we spot any issues that may or may not be forming, in order to reassure them that, nope, just like the last 4 services, no entry and exit points, no activity, that kind of stuff. Just that reinsurance policy. You're then going to drop the bill. It looks like you're going to have a balance today of $106.77. I'm going to go ahead and take that cash credit or check when I'm done with the servicing. And at that point, they're going to say, oh, I'll pay online, or okay, I'll get you a check or whatever, which will know you to reference that at the end as well. And then you'll just say, looks like last time we had your concerns were X, Y, and Z. How are your concerns with them? Again, they already said everything's okay inside. But now we're asking about specific concerns with the notes from last service. And then just go ahead and do your job upon return. Hey, just so I let you know, I went ahead and dusted here, here, and here. I took a look at your 3 bait stations. Only the one over by the air conditioner had some activity, which is good, minor activity, but with some good. I did notice some vole activity out by your shed, so I went ahead and placed an additional bait station out there. No entry and exit points at this time, which is great. Went ahead and took down your webs. Only found a couple, but I went ahead and took them down for you. Everything else looked fairly good. Again, inside's looking good for you. Yeah, it's looking good. Awesome. This is kind of what you can expect for next time. We're going to be back out in April. I see that you had issues with moles last year. They're going to start coming out end of March, beginning of April. So start noticing, looking for that activity. Once the snow melts too, there may be some more vole activity. And that's normal. Asian beetles, box elders will start to come out when it's warmer. The great news is that when that comes, just give us a call back. We'll go ahead and move your quarterly up and get you serviced, so that way you're serviced in the need. But I also did put the product in place. The dust that I put in place today is going to go ahead and help combat that as well. So if you're seeing a lot of dead insects, that means our product's working. Just go ahead and vacuum up and you're good. And then again, address that payment again. Even if they did say, no, I'm going to pay online, just say, we noticed, you said earlier you're going to pay online. That's great. Just so you know, the balance is XYZ. You will be getting an invoice shortly after I'm done. Again, if anything pops up between now and your next quarterly that you want us to address, just give us a call. Anything else I can do for you at this point, right? Always ask that. Nope, we're good. Great. Thank you very much. Go ahead here, sign my iPad, and you're good to go. Customers may say they're good, and it's going to be frustrating because you're always going to get that customer that's going to call an hour later and said, he didn't do the inside, I want the inside done. But you asked, it's because sometimes they just kind of forgot about it or didn't know. That's why we go back twice, is because if they did forget about it, boom. I also did talk about the anomaly about customers that are leaving or on a meeting or a phone call or getting in the shower or whatever. Those are the anomaly. They're less than 10% of our customers. So that means that 90% of the customers that we interact with at our home are going to be able to get 2 returns. So we need to make sure we do that. Even if they're not home, we need to make sure that we're going twice and giving them that opportunity. That was the end of the meeting for February 6, 2019. Thank you very much, guys, and we will see you next week.